Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Taurus, tonight we have the Fool card. Always, always, always welcome, right? I always think, yeah, we're going to have a little bit of fun when we have the Fool around, right? Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And also if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment or both or all three, I would be so appreciative. It does help so much. And also if you're new to the channel, definitely leave a comment, shout it out. Let me know that you've come by to visit, that you're gonna stay. Okay, so I wanna point this out. We have 82 as a number, 82. For some reason, not a number I see a lot. 82. There's certain numbers that like to repeat themselves. Like 43 is a big one. I see a lot of 43s, 34s, 72s, not 82s though. Okay, so I want to go ahead. I want to look at this starting right over here. So we have a person who looks like they're kind of, well, I imagine like going out foraging. Like they have a little backpack. They have their, their knife in their hand. They're ready to kind of go out there, look for some beautiful plants, berries, fruits, tubers. Tubers is one of my favorite words for a plant. Roots, whatever it is, whatever they're going out to harvest. And I feel like there's a sense of kind of in a searching mode, right? Over here we have, and it looks like a coin. It looks like it has an M on it. So I thought, yeah, this reminds me of course, money. Very generic, right? But yes, it reminds me of money. And so I feel like there is this kind of, maybe almost an anxiety, right? Kind of something around finances. Maybe it's that you're trying to get a raise at work. You're trying to make a little more money, start kind of a side hustle or something. Maybe there has been some financial strain, and this is something that has kind of, weighed heavily on your mind, of course. So I see you getting into this really kind of proactive mode, not just kind of sitting in those chaotic and terror and worrying, how am I going to pay the bills? These kinds of anxieties that we all have, right? We've all had them. We will all have them at some point. So I see you really resisting the urge to kind of fold to the pressure, right? And kind of, get in your basket, getting your bag, putting it on, going out foraging. Now, maybe not literally foraging, although you might be. You might be somebody who is into, going out and finding beautiful things to cook with. Now be careful. You have to be quite educated on what you're eating. so many things look so similar. It's treacherous if you don't know what you're doing. So make sure, triple, double check, make sure you, are studying up on what you're eating from outside. So, I do though. It is this sense of going and, yeah, like I said, looking for other ways to kind of bring in some income. And, I think that we're all kind of in that place. We do. They say we live in this kind of grind, hustle, gig culture. A lot of us, right? Doing not one job, but multiple jobs. And, that's kind of where we're at. So I could see how, this is maybe a time where, there's maybe some underlying anxieties. Now, here's the good news, is that Taurus, you excel when there is something that needs to be done, right? Whenever there is some, code red, like things are heating up, they're getting a little chaotic, you have, some more deals to face. This is when you are at your best. I mean, it just really is. I always think of Taurus people as being, quite creative. I mean, that's the first thing. Being artists and musicians, especially musicians. But also kind of really in that space of first responders, medical, fire, police even, maybe social workers, or now I know a social worker isn't always a first responder, but more and more places are implementing having people who are in this kind of support social worker position to go out on calls. So that I'm thinking, yes, these are people who do outreach in the communities, and maybe even, somebody is like doing, within, recovery, helping people kind of get placed into like rehabilitation centers, going out doing interventions, and I forget what it's called, like a peer counselor, or like an outreach specialist for addiction. So anyways, I'm thinking of, yes, people who are they have their, boots on the ground, dealing with, the civilian population, really in situations that are, I mean, you're meeting people on the worst day of their lives quite often, or at least they're not in, the best place. Something major is going on. And Taurus people, really, I mean, just, it's like you're fully on, and really good at navigating these kind of really complex situations where most of us freeze, right? We don't know what to do, or we get flustered, just really overreact a little bit. I'm pointing at me. And so, yeah, I do. I feel like, in this situation where, maybe there's some stuff going on where it's like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta be making this money. You're out there and you're looking and you're figuring out, like, how am I gonna make this work? And I feel that this is going to be kind of a pretty successful endeavor. You might actually end up in a situation that's far more lucrative than your previous whatever was going on, right? Maybe job, maybe this is the second job. Maybe this is kind of like that side hustle that ends up, taking over your day job, right? Maybe you're going to start a YouTube channel and, you know, start to make it your business, you know, or whatever platform. But I feel like this is a place where you might really be surprised by the end of it, you know, just wondering, why didn't I do this before, right? Why didn't I start this before? Now, we have, it looks like the Empress, and you can see sitting on a throne, enthroned, holding, here's the head, right? Here's the chair, holding hand out, flower right here, holding a flower. Now we also have a person standing in front of them. We also have the number 17. Okay, 17. We had 82 before. Now we have 17. We also have the letter B. Okay, very prominent B. So we have the Empress, and the Empress is usually pictured as kind of, you know, having flowers and animals and life around her. I often think of her as being Persephone, or Kor, the goddess of the underworld. But she is also the goddess of spring, right? She's this very dualistic character. And she spends the winters in the underworld, and then when spring comes back around, she ascends and everything starts growing, right? The return of Persephone means that spring, summer are on their way. And so I'm looking, and I feel like there is just such a ability to get things going in your life. It's almost like these continued cycles of building up and breaking down, build and destroy, build and destroy, build and destroy. Where I think most people really look for this underlying need to kind of have consistency, to have something that feels super solid. Like, I'm gonna buy this house and I'm gonna live here, and my kids are gonna live here, and their kids are gonna live here, and we're gonna have this like forever legacy. And you know, this is what I want to have, this like monument to my life. And I feel like most Taurus people, it's about the seasons. It's about knowing that nothing stays the same, that you partake in the kind of natural ebb and flow of things. You're good at being flexible, being able to adapt, to be stuck in one thing, to go into a situation thinking this is going to be forever. Never, you know, I'm going to have this job until I retire, the same position, same job. That is a mind prison for a Taurus person. There needs to be this kind of having different parts of your life, these different chapters. And maybe this isn't like all the time, like every other year you're like moving to a new house or having a new relationship or, you know, a new job or whatever. But there are distinct periods of your life, and, you know, different people from different periods of your life. And when you get them together, they might all know you as very different person. They're people, you know, that their person, their idea of you might be completely different than somebody you grew up with, right? So I feel like there's just this continued evolution. I would really put a lot of money on this, that I believe that you've heard in your life that you're like a very cultivated, very worldly, somebody that maybe people are even a little bit, I don't know, you're just so sophisticated in ways, they don't feel very confident around you. They're intimidated by you. And here, I think ultimately, and we have this person right in the middle, and it looks like a child compared to like the Empress over here. And to me, what this says is like you really retain, and this also goes with, you can see that even the legs are kind of, it's a similar, you can see right in the middle here, the head, the body, the legs are kind of in this spread stance, same as the Fool, right? And I don't necessarily think that you are a fool, right? I'm not saying that you are, but I do feel like this is more of like a child energy. You retain that inner child, that interior child, just desire to explore, to experience, to understand, to immerse yourself in different things that you're impassioned by. That is never dimmed in you. I mean, it is something that is very vibrant. And so, people in your life might think like, what are you doing? You have a good job, you have a nice, house, condo, apartment, whatever. Everything seems to be going pretty good, and then you decide like, hey, I'm gonna like move to the other side of the country, or I'm gonna quit my job, I want to do something else, like this isn't for me anymore, or whatever. And the people around you are like, what is going on with, why do you do this? Why do you build this thing up and you get your life really kind of moving, and then you want to do something else? Well, I think that it's something to be admired, because you are not tethered to any idea of what your life should be like. I feel like you have this really brave quality where, yeah, you'll like go out there and do, follow your intuition. And I think this is really what this is about right now, is just following the kind of whims of your higher thinking, and allowing yourself to truly do that. Right? Not just kind of half stepping, right? Like really, yes, surrendering to the flow of things. And I think that ultimately it brings you into a place of great power. And I believe that because you've had so many experiences. Your perceptions, your positions on things, how you view the world, it is expansive. It is not a limited situation there. Not at all. You've tried things, you've done things, you've been places. You have this beautiful catalog of experiences. And, I think that it ranks high on your priorities, is to live, is to really live. And not just sit around and talk about it. So, I do feel there's just this real energetic quality. And it seems like a time of maybe shifting a bit. And I think it's perfect timing because, yeah, maybe whatever you're doing isn't working out exactly how you wanted it to. Maybe there are, a little bit of money issues. But I also see we have a person on a horse. So I feel that, yeah, you're really, getting on the dang horse and riding on out, getting things moving, flowing. And there's nothing like, for somebody who is a traveler, who has kind of the spirit of an adventurer, there's nothing like that first moment when you put the last bag in the car. And you go around to, well, maybe you're riding. You might be driving though, right? In this example, we're going to think about being the driver. You go around to the front, right? You open your door, you get in there, you sit down, you shut the door, you turn that key, or hit the little thing or whatever. For some reason, I'm picturing like an old Volvo for some reason. I love that. I always wanted one of those blue ones that they had to have been like, I don't know, from the early 80s or whatever. When I lived with my grandparents after my parents passed away, I was, a preteen going into my teenhood. And my neighbor, they had a daughter who was maybe like 16 or 17 when I was probably like 12 or 13 or whatever. And she was like the coolest. And she, I remember she got this Volvo before she went off to college. And then after she was gone, I was like maybe, like her 16, 17. And she would come back and I would always, I'd see the car and I'd think, oh. And I'm not going to say her name, but she had a really cool name too. She just was so cool. She was like, I don't know. She reminded me of, what's her name? PJ Harvey. Yeah. And like so cool. And yeah, so anyways, I'm thinking about, I guess I'm like, there's this energy of that spirit of woman in my heart, really, we barely knew each other. I mean, I knew her growing up. She always lived there and I would visit my grandparents until I moved in. We would stay with them in the summer and stuff. But, yes, sitting in the car, turning the key, and just looking out, knowing that you are getting on the road, you are headed to the next thing. And there's nothing like that feeling. It is such a freedom, right? So much potential. And so I feel like that's such a Taurus thing. So let's go ahead and see. We have, it looks like, I'm almost imagining fall here. We have a person standing. I see, it looks like leaves blowing around. It looks like maybe a flower or some kind of plant. The wind blowing the petals off of the stem there, the whole bloom. And yeah, the beginning of kind of some mixing things up. Maybe it's like really a time for letting go of some things, right? Letting yourself move on and beginning the process of considering rebuilding, starting something new, and also maybe a little bit of mourning what was, But here's the other thing about Taurus is you're not going to stay jammed up on something for too long. You absolutely will move on. You will move on. We also have the bird that looks like it's migrating, like a Canadian goose. I heard some geese the other day. I was like, is it fall yet? Is it autumn? Because it's so hot. What are you doing here? Usually they don't come back for at least another couple months. So we have the movement, right? Migration, starting again, going to the next place. We also have flowers, okay? So this one is actually intact, and yeah, it does feel like a flourishing. You are getting into this new beginning, and we also see, and this is what I've been waiting and hoping would show up, we have a fish that is jumping. So the fish represents money, resources. And I think that as you kind of settle into the next thing or figure out what you will be doing, that immediately there's going to be some success within that work. So that is a most blessed sign. And if this, you're out here watching divination videos asking questions about what you should do, what you shouldn't be doing. I will tell you that this is a good time to start manifesting in your life. Doing that thing, starting that business, start selling your artwork, going and trying to get that new position in your job or raise or, going to a new company or whatever. Go apply. Go to the interviews. Do the thing, because I feel like this is going to be really something that pays off for you. Okay, so we're going to do the self-care affirmation cards, and I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Self-celebration. I am amazing. Yeah, you are. I rejoice in my successes, big and small. I am proud of the person I am becoming. I celebrate myself today. I celebrate myself today. Absolutely. As you should. All right. Taurus, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do, especially if you're new to the channel. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I think that's it. So again, I love you, Taurus. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.